All right, so I got 4 questions for this week's Q&A, so let's just jump into them. Susanna says, I can't use Mercari even with a VPN. Is this happening with anyone else? What may be the problem? So honestly, it might be the fact that you're not in the US. Currently, I believe Mercari is only for the US. So if you do live outside the US, you can't sell on Mercari, but you still can sell on eBay for your local eBay marketplace. You can still sell on Poshmark. You can still obviously sell on Amazon. And depending on where you live in the world, there might be other marketplaces for you. I know there's one specifically for New Zealand. There's a couple of other ones here and there depending on where you live, but that might be the reason. Now, if you do live in the US and you can't, for whatever reason, sign up for Mercari, then it's probably just like a technical error. Then I would just, contact support and they should be able to straighten it out for you pretty easily. So good question. Hope that helps, Susanna. My guess is probably you're not in the US and that's probably why. So maybe the VPN might be the issue there, or just sell on a different platform. Next question is, when you're looking at Keepa charts of books, is there any way to know if the drops are for used or new sales? Any way to check if a new book is selling? Yeah, so usually there's like a way, if you go to the actual tutorial in the course on Keepa, there's a way to sort through new and used, right? So you just have that little check in the actual chart, and then it should pop up with the new price or the new sale and like the sales history for that, as well as the used one. So you should be able to just kind of, if you don't want both of them on at the same time, just check one off, check the other one on, and that way you can see the data for specifically new or specifically used. Next question is, what tools do you use for OA? Currently on the free trial for Source Mogul, I'm trying to find cheap Chrome extension, or I'm trying to find a cheap Chrome extension to show daily and monthly product sales data. So to answer your question for daily and monthly product sales data, I use Jungle Scout. It's very, very, very good, and I highly recommend it regardless of the business model. I literally use it every single day in pretty much every single business model that I plan to resell back on Amazon with. That said, people obviously think it's expensive. I don't think it's expensive. I think if you pay yearly and you go with the light version, I believe it's $9.99 a month. Now, sometimes you can't find like the light version landing page, so you might have to go with the normal version. So try to first and foremost Google Jungle Scout Chrome extension light version, right? And if you can find that landing page, because that's exactly what I still pay for, it's $9.99 a month. So that's pretty cheap. If you can't find it, because they obviously discontinued that they're not pushing the light version anymore. They're just keeping it obviously hidden for people that are already subscribed to keep those people as customers, kind of like me. So if not, then you can just use the normal version of the Chrome extension, and that's $19.99 a month. So that's going to pay for itself time and time over. I know that I believe Jungle Scout has a free estimator as well if you just Google like Jungle Scout free estimator, although you're going to spend so much extra time going in, finding the ASIN, plugging it into that, and then using their free estimator. I would recommend that you probably go with the Chrome extension. It's going to save you so much time and realistically streamline your process so you can order products faster, order more profitable products more frequently, et cetera, et cetera. But I do believe if you don't want to pay the $19.99 a month, excuse me, I'm pretty sure they have a free estimator. I haven't used their free estimator in like 3 to 4 years potentially, but I'm pretty sure it still exists. So you can look into that. To answer your other questions of, what other tools do I use for OA? I use so many different tools for OA depending on the business model. So if we're talking about just like overall, I use things like cashback credit cards, right, to increase my profit margins. I also use things like Honey, things like Rakuten, things like all sorts of plugins like that to give me extra cash back as well as my cashback credit cards. I also use Keepa. I also use, Jungle Scout. I also use the AMZ Scout calculator. I also use a number of other things. I use Simple Posture. I use a number of things, right? So obviously you're in the course. You can go through the course, and in each specific module, I go over the software that I use, the software that I recommend, as well as like plugins and stuff like that, and the purpose of them. If you're talking about specific softwares for the books, I either use eFlip or Zen Arbitrage. Let's just go down the list here and I'll tell you exactly what I use. So for books, like I said, I use Zen Arbitrage or eFlip. I like them both. I've covered, kind of a comparison of which one's better and, which one I'd recommend for you depending on your situation. For sourcing from retail websites, you already know I obviously use Source Mogul. For sourcing through liquidation, I use Scan Unlimited a lot of times, or I just specifically buy it for the marketplace if it's not Amazon. For wholesale, again, I use Scan Unlimited. For cashback and coupon, obviously I'm not really using anything. I'm just kind of estimating the cheapest potential profit margin and reselling it back on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. So that pretty much kind of sums it up for you. I use a number of different things depending on the business model, but obviously if you go to that specific section in that module in the course, you can see exactly what software I recommend and exactly what plugins I use in all the tutorials, as well as if you go to the second module in the course, which I believe is Module 2, obviously, I don't know why I just recapped that. It's Module 2, things that will make online arbitrage exponentially easier and more profitable. There's probably 5 to 6, if not maybe 10, honestly, things that I recommend in there. And obviously Jungle Scout, the Chrome extension that will cover your sales for the month and everything like that, or estimate sales for that listing. And it's $19.99 a month, like I said, is something that I highly recommend with that. So that pretty much answers your question. I hope that kind of covers everything. Those are the tools that I use. That's the Chrome extension that I recommend that you use. And like I said, if you're strapped for cash initially or you want to really maintain your margins, I believe that Jungle Scout has a free estimator. Just Google it and you should be able to find it potentially. Last question, Chuck says, yes, sir. I'd like to know if you have any experience selling in Canada. If so, are there any custom fees to ship into FBA there? Also, is it worth selling there? Thank you in advance. So I don't actually personally sell on from the US marketplace, because obviously you sell in the US, Chuck. From the US marketplace, you can go into the back end of your settings, kind of like your vacation mode, like right there, because you just said you went on vacation, or you went on vacation mode for like a week. I believe it's right there off the top of my head. If you go to your settings and you go towards where you're going to put your I almost said your closet, but this is in Poshmark, your store or your Amazon listings on vacation mode and make them inactive, you can actually right there above it, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, you can join and say that you want to sell in Mexico and Canada as well, right? So North America in general. I don't believe that there are any extra custom fees. Now, I haven't actually done that myself. I had it checked for a long time, for like a couple months before this, but that was back when I was literally only selling a lot of used textbooks and some products in FBA, so I didn't really make any sales there to my knowledge. I don't believe that there are any custom fees. I don't do it anymore, so I don't have Canada open for mine, it's inactive. I don't have Mexico open for mine, it's inactive. But I believe all it does is just give you an extra potential to sell it in those actual countries, and then I think the customer would just potentially pay the shipping, or FBA covers that for them. So that, like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I don't do it. I don't really have a lot of experience with it, but I don't believe you have to pay any custom fees. I believe either the customer pays that shipping if they don't have FBA, or so it's international shipping, or I think Amazon has just built out their FBA to cover all of North America. So I'm pretty sure you can just include that. And I don't, to my knowledge, believe that you have to pay any extra fees. So good question. I hope that answers all your questions, guys. You guys have questions. If you have a specific question for next week's Q&A, drop it on this post right here on this video. Also, keep an eye out. I'm actually going away this weekend for Labor Day, so I won't have time to actually post the Q&A on Sunday, so I won't be back till Tuesday, I believe. So I'll try to remember to post it on Tuesday, but if not, then obviously I might just, either take the week off potentially for the Q&A for this week specifically because I'm going away, or I might post it on Tuesday or Wednesday and then just do it kind of a little bit later in the week. So keep an eye out for that, or if you have a question that comes up, drop it on this video right here. But with that being said, I hope you got a lot of value out of this, and I'll see you in the next one.